2NURFM.com, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
I'm joined by the University of Newcastle's Director of the Tom Farrell Institute for the Environment, Professor Tim Roberts, and I mentioned our topic today, Professor Tim, the Arctic Sea and ice melting.
That's it. We know the North Pole's full of ice and snow up there, and there have been some reports that the area of the ice is decreasing as the years go by. Well, been some new studies out now where they've measured the actual thickness of the ice, and so they've calculated the amount of ice that is there. And so if we go way back to 1779, there was about 17,000 cubic kilometres of ice. So a cubic kilometre, of course, is a kilometre by a kilometre by a kilometre, and there were 17,000 of them at the North Pole. The same time in 2012, there were 3,000 kilometres, so it had dropped by 14,000 cubic kilometres of ice. That's a considerable drop in that period of time, yeah. That's a lot of water when it melts, of course. So all of that ice has disappeared in those 40, 50 years. So we're looking at better measurements, if you like. We're getting an idea of this collapse in the total sea ice volume of the Arctic. It's down to 1/5 of its level in 1980, and it's leading to a lot of concern with a lot of people, including Tim Roberts. So it's been checked. This sort of measurement's been checked using submarines and moored observation posts as well as satellites since 2008, and certainly it looks to be absolutely right on the money that it is decreasing. This is the best indicator we've got, and so now we get into the area of speculation. What's likely to happen? And it's thought that what we'll see within a decade is a ice-free Arctic in summer. So you'll be able to sail your boat, take your ship through there, that Northern Passage, without any problem at all, because there won't be any ice. Of course, the polar bears will be in a little bit of trouble, but there won't be any ice up there. But it's thought that this is going to lead to permanent changes, which will usher in prolonged weather events, such as drought, flooding, cold spells, heat waves, and all of us seem to be familiar with those over the last few months, of course, with what we're seeing up in Queensland and in New South Wales with the floods. But what it's going to do is accelerate global warming. So the rate of global warming in the region will increase, and what we imagine is that the Greenland ice sheet itself will also start to disintegrate more rapidly. And the problem is that that's going to release a huge amount of methane, a huge amount of carbon into the atmosphere, because you've got the permafrost, you've got that area there that is just frozen. Once it starts to thaw, then it's going to liberate a huge amount of greenhouse gas. So we're going to accelerate the changes we're seeing. So I guess we're in a situation where everybody needs to take note of this and just be aware of it. And I think these figures, decrease of 4/5 of the total sea ice volume around the Arctic since 1980, those figures are absolutely astounding, and we need to start doing something.
Some worldwide impacts. Most definitely. What about us next week? Some homework. What have you got in mind for us to have a chat about?
Well, I thought we'd take a small step towards changing the release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere by telling you how to build a pedelec, a power-assisted pedal bicycle.
Oh, okay then. That sounds good. That'll be next Tuesday morning when we take a look at the environment and us. Thank you for that, Professor Tim.
Dave, before I go, I'd just like to say that the Tom Farrell Institute will be at the show. We'll be in the Skills on Show Pavilion, and we'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'd absolutely love to have some of the listeners come up and talk to us and have a look at what we're doing face-to-face, because it's been great to be associated with 2NURFM over these years, and the Schools on Show at the show gives a chance for people to talk to us.
That's right. Professor Tim Roberts, and he will be there with the Tom Farrell Institute at the show this weekend. He might even come over and say hello to us as we broadcast live on Friday. We'd look forward to that.
Absolutely, Dave.